Analyzing order book composition, Keith Allen, co-founder of trading tool Material Indicators, had a fresh Bitcoin price warning in store. Bitcoin, he showed, still lacked liquidity immediately below spot price, making return to 42,000 especially easy. Zooming out, liquidity was increasing far lower, around 25,000, signaling what Allen described as growing sentiment for a dip. So don't forget to subscribe, like and share, and let's start. Weekly new money inflows in and out of crypto. Bitcoin gets 700 million new dollars. Solana leads utility chain with 13.4 million new dollars. Ethereum loses 6.4 million and Avalanche loses 1.3 million dollars. Next up we go with, as big breaking news, $114 million has been sold by Grayscale Bitcoin Trust today, and again they continue to sell their assets, and that's kind of massive. The $114 million doesn't look that impressive for the Grayscale, but it is actually impressive for the market. Next up, once Bitcoin breaks above 43,700, we will confirm the breakout of this massive inverse head and shoulders pattern, and here we could see the left shoulder, the right shoulder building, and the head already built, so we are looking for a massive explosion if this finally builds that finishes to build. Next up, Bitcoin has no single point of failure. As Bitcoin has a couple of things going for it, it's distributed with no single point of failure, no mint, no company with offices that can be sub 0.9 arrested or shut down. How Finney says about Bitcoin. Next up, Justine Craig Wright has to appear in High Court today after claiming to be Satoshi for years. Richard Hart has the first to call him out for his lies. Today, Craig has to prove he's Satoshi or be labeled a fraud forever. Richard was in Bitcoin back when the emailing list was around, so this list had about 160 people on it, and it's still unknown if Satoshi's email was hacked or if Satoshi sent the last email before he decided to disappear. And Richard has been helping crypto for years, as he knows more than any of us. Today Richard will be right again. Let's see how it plays out. Good morning everyone, says that 12 months after the halving, the shock starts for the Bitcoin price. However, we've never had a scenario where 2,000 Bitcoin a day are being acquired by a single demand source. I think there's a high likelihood that the ETFs change the cycle you were expecting. Be aware of it. The first ever president who was embraced Bitcoin is re-elected. Bitcoin is good for business, as said by him. Next up we go with, as the world has never experienced anything like this before. Available supply on exchanges is dwindling pretty rapidly due to the voracious demand, and new supply is about to get cut in half. The incoming pump is going to melt faces. Also, let's go for more, as the Bitcoin price sets new February high as the Bitcoin buyers target faraway 25,000. Bitcoin rises into the week's Wall Street open as China spooks investors, but Bitcoin price analysis reveals what looks like the growing support for a major drop. As the China loses spark talk of recession, data from Cointelegraph Markets Pro and TradingView show the local highs of 43,500 on the Bitstamp as a new February Bitcoin price record. Bitcoin has heated up in the week's the first Asia trading session as China's CSI 1000 index shed 8% in a single day, prompting authorities to impose further controls on short selling. Trading resource the KBC letter inquired whether the country might be in recession, noting a disconnect between large and small cap stocks. China's market has officially lost $7 trillion in value over the last 3 years, and part of their reaction on X, formerly Twitter, acknowledged. So Bitcoin volatility was also aided by the market increase in open interest, as this amounting to $775 million for data uploaded to X from the Martuan, a contributor to on-chain analytics platform CryptoQuant. As outflows from the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, meanwhile, came out lower than in previously days at around 2,600 Bitcoin, continuing an encouraging downtrend. 25,000 zone gets fresh liquidity. Analyzing order book composition, Keith Allen, co-founder of trading tool Material Indicator, had a fresh Bitcoin price warning in store. As Bitcoin, he showed, still lacked liquidity immediately below spot price, making a return to $42,000 especially easy. And zooming out, liquidity was increasing far lower as around $25,000, signaling what Alan described as growing sentiment for a dip. That doesn't mean that the price is going right here immediately or even at all, but it doesn't mean that there is some sentiment for this level now, as he explained in his latest video update. Is it true sentiment, or are they just positioned here for a potential week? That remains to be seen, but I will be watching this to see if more liquidity comes into this range, because in my opinion liquidity equals sentiment. As Alan added that the ladder of ask liquidity overhead spot, this itself moving lower suggested that now snap upside to $45,000 or higher was likely in the immediate short term. Next up, Bitcoin ETF sees $700 million net inflows as BlackRock Fidelity gains offset GBTC outflows. New US Bitcoin ETFs have amassed $7.7 billion in funds since debut, offsetting the $6 billion outflows from the incumbents, according to CoinShares data. Bitcoin-focused investment vehicles received more than $700 million in fresh money as last week as inflows to new spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds offset the abating outflows from Grayscale's flagship fund, as GBTC asset managers CoinShares reported Monday. BlackRock actually managed IBTC and Fidelity's FBTC, the two clear leaders among the newly issued spot Bitcoin ETFs, booked $884 million and $674 million in weekly inflows, respectively. Both figures were slightly higher than the week before in dollar terms. So that highlighted a significant reduction in momentum of these outflows in the recent weeks, as James Butterfield said, head of research at CoinShares, noted in a report. So outflows from the existing Bitcoin funds like GBTC have been source of concern over the past week as spot Bitcoin ETFs started trading in the US on January 11th. After a short-lived wave of withdrawals, mostly related to profit-taking and FTX selling GBTC holdings, outflows have slowed while inflow to new entrants remain consistent. And as of the end of the last week, the new Bitcoin ETFs had amassed $7.7 billion in funds, as more than offsetting the $6 billion outflows from incumbents, the report highlighted. Next up we go is that Bitcoin actually has the crypto market that could under threat the Tether booms to 100 billion, warns JP Morgan. So in just 90 days, Tether USDT, the top stablecoin, has outpaced financial giants, boasting an impressive annual run rate of $11.4 billion, and this success has led to nearly $100 billion in circulation, surpassing Goldman Sachs' profits in the last quarter, as reported by Matt Hogan, Bitwise CIO. However, JP Morgan expresses concerns over Tether's dominance, citing regulatory and transparency issues. $100 billion and growing. JP Morgan analysts led by Nicholas Paniagirtsoglu see Tether's growing dominance over the past year as a potential risk for stablecoins and the broader crypto market, so the transparency around the Tether's regulatory challenges is seen as a drawback for the long-term investors. And Tether CEO Paulo Ardoino defends the stablecoin as suggesting that its dominance may unsettle competitors, including banks. He highlights the positive impact on market reliant on Tether, emphasizing the allocation of 15% of operating profits to Bitcoin purchases. So that's all the information we have on the Bitcoin so far, and if you are interested in more, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See you in the next one, and peace.